Hey, Mets Nation, welcome back to Mets Central post-game show. It's over at Citifield. Another victory for our beloved Mets. Man, oh man, I love it. 3 games in a row over these Cubbies. That assures us that we'll win this series, at least 3-1. But we don't want to stop right there. We want to keep it going. We want to be able to finish these guys off tomorrow. We got the Stroh Show going tomorrow night. It's gonna be great, man. So far, this team is just playing very, very well, man. But I'm gonna talk about all that. We're gonna recap the whole game, man, here at the post-game show, man. But again, before I get started, I appreciate you guys drop a like. Make sure that you comment down below. Give me your thoughts on today's results. We'll talk a little bit about DeGrom, whatever it may be. Talk about it. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on today's win at Citifield over the Cubbies. And, of course, if you have not, as of yet, become part of the community, brand new channel, make sure you subscribe before you go. Appreciate you guys stopping by. And do not forget also to put on that bell icon. That's so you'll post notifications. This way, when I post something, you get notified and you'll be able to get that information right away. So let's go, Mets Nation. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, so let's recap the game, man. Let's go over the final lines here. Chicago finished with 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors. The Mets finished with 6 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. Good thing the 2 errors did not harm us. We're going to get to that a little bit later on the show. But let's start with the pitching. Like always here, I like to start with the pitching. And most importantly, you're going to always hear it from me. Pitching is critical. I mean, this is another reason why we're doing so well. So, again, DeGrom started the game. I'm disappointed, as well as everybody else in Mets Nation is as well, seeing DeGrom step away after 3 innings. But he was so dominant. I mean, how dominant can you be as the best pitcher on the planet, and at the same time you just keep going out there and just keep getting more dominant? It's just, he's just mind blowing. It's incredible. And then the energy at Citi Field was absolutely nuts last night. I mean, more and more people coming to the ballpark when he pitches. I mean, everybody's watching. I'm sure everybody around the nation is watching when Jacob DeGrom pitches, and he was dominant. Faced 9 batters in 3 innings. His final lines: 3 innings pitch, no hits, no runs, no base on balls, which is always a plus. And on top of that, 8 strikeouts. I mean, he looked like he was going to just dominate these guys all night long. But shoulder soreness is what we're calling it from the Mets right now for DeGrom. So, I mean, he says after the post game, he pretty much stated that, he's not concerned. So I'm not going to concern myself, but we are going to do everything we can to make sure that he is right. So he's going to get tested, going to go through all the procedures again, and hopefully he's ready to go for the next outing. But he gave us 3 beautiful innings last night, 8 strikeouts. He only faced 9 batters. I mean, come on now. I mean, how crazy is that? You face 9 batters, you get 1 fly ball, and then your defense didn't have to do nothing more. It's just watch you pitch. 8 strikeouts. I mean, it's insane. Dominant. Fastball. His slider was ridiculous. He sprinkled in there the changeups as well. He was just really good. He just seems to get better and better with each outing. It's scary, man. It's just scary. And to think that Walker's been pitching so well. We got the Stroh Show going tomorrow. He's been pitching well, man. We got 3 solid guys there. And then if we can really get something going with Peterson, which had a good performance his last outing, and Lucchesi, shit. I mean, we should be okay considering the circumstances, because the bullpen is getting it done. A little hiccup here and there, but then again, when you have enough runs, you can get a little bit more aggressive, and we were able to prevail last night. So Jacob DeGrom, again, awesome night, man. And and can we say anything more about Jacob DeGrom? Yeah, it's just one more thing. He also had a at-bat where he got a hit and got an RBI to help his own self out. Brings in the other run of the game. I think it was his 11th hit of the year. I think it's also his 5th RBI of the year. Is there anything that he cannot do? And the beauty of that at-bat was a quality at-bat, folks. I mean, we're talking about a pitcher, but again, we always got to remember Jacob DeGrom was a shortstop. He was a regular fielding player. So he knows how to swing the bat, and I'm sure he continues to work on his hitting skills. Plus, he's also a pitcher. He knows more or less how a pitcher would approach a hitter. That's the beauty. Sometimes I always say that hitters all should master that, but pitchers should be that dominant when they come up to the plate, especially if you're a good hitting pitcher. You should definitely have a great idea of who is pitching that night, what they have to offer, and more or less you are really in tune. He had 8 guys bat before him, so he knew when he came up to the plate what he was dealing with Stock. Stock was a little bit all over the place. He definitely fell behind a lot. And this is Jake. He falls behind 0-2, if you remember correctly. He works the count back up to a full count, fouls off a pitch, I believe. If I remember correctly, definitely fouled off a pitch, I think, on 2-2 count. Then he gets to 3-2, and what he does, he gets a great pitch down in the zone, good pitch. And what he does, he gets the meat of the bat on the ball, nice level, getting the bat head down there, meeting the ball level, cuts it in half, ground ball between first and second base, and it was a hard hit ground ball. That wasn't a medium hit, that was hard hit, and he brings in an RBI to help his own cause. And man, I mean, it's again the best pitcher on the planet. There's nothing that he cannot do. You know, I mean, he can hit as a pitcher. He runs the bases well. He pitches excellently. He's the best pitcher on the planet for that category. And on top of that, he feels his position very well too. So he's just, you know, the greatest right now pitcher / athlete. I mean, he is an athlete first, you know, and that's why makes him such a quality good pitcher, in my opinion, as someone who, you know, is always around athletes when it comes to baseball. But again, let's go down the list because we had 7 guys pitch last night, and we held this team down still to 3 runs on 3 hits. It's just truly amazing how, in my opinion, to me, and you're going to hear it here time and time again, if you've seen any of my previous videos since I started this channel, I'm keep praising the defense of our pitching staff because they are the ones that are carrying this team. Offensively, we have those moments where we have big games and we get a lot of hits, but as you can see in this series, we haven't been really tattooing the Cubs pitching staff with hits. I mean, you know, last night was a perfect example, only scoring 6 runs on 5 hits, and we'll touch upon that a little bit more in a moment. But the pitching staff has been getting it done. This pitching staff, well, let's continue. Before I get to the very end of my final thoughts of the pitching staff, let's just go through the rest of what everybody else did. So Reed Foley comes in there. He ends up being the winning pitcher. He's now 2-0. He pitched 2 innings. He gave a 1 run on 1 hit. He had 2 base on balls, and he gave up a big home run. So just one mistake there. 38 pitches. His earned run average is at 2.30 ending to last night. And like I said, he was the winning pitcher. Aaron Loop came in there. I thought that back to Reed. I think Reed was okay. I think he could have been a little bit more, you know, his approach to some of the hitters could have been better as far as getting ahead on hitters. He kind of fell behind a few times, struggled at some points, did find ways to get out of it. It seemed towards the end he was starting to really get it a little bit better. At the beginning, he definitely had a little bit of a rough go, but nonetheless, still a decent performance considering you got a couple of run support. You got to go out there and you got to perform, and I think Reed Foley did an okay job. He wasn't the best out of the pitchers last night, but because he pitched 2 innings, he gets the win. Aaron Loop was excellent. I mean, second outing in a row, he's come in there. He's gotten the job done. He pitched 1 solid inning, no runs, no hits, no base on balls, 2 strikeouts. You know, that we're just going to keep taking guys down. His earned run average drops to 1.93, so he is doing very well from the lefty side for us. And then Miguel Castro came in there, pitched 1 inning, same thing, just donuts all the way across the board, 2 strikeouts. So again, here goes 2 guys from the bullpen coming in here. We got 4 out of the would-be 6 outs in those 2 innings, and we got 4 strikeouts. Then Trevor May. What can I say about Trevor May? Trevor May was, I think, was probably the best I've seen him in the last few outings. He really was. His whole approach was totally different this time around than it was when he pitched 2 days ago against the Cubs. Me personally, I like to see adjustments in pitchers. He is, to me, comes off as an emotional pitcher. He doesn't get calls or something like that. He gets a little bit down on himself. He tends to overpitch or overthrow, as we call it. He overthrows the ball, and that puts him to have flat fastballs, and he doesn't look good. His approach the last time he was on the mound was horrible. I mean, he was trying to gunsling. He was trying to bulldog hitters, and he was kind of flat with his fastball and a little bit all over the place, and he fell behind, and then, unfortunately, he got tattooed and he got hurt with the home runs. Yesterday's whole approach was totally different. He started relying more on his changeup and slider, and that was nice to see. His off-speed and his breaking pitches were excellent. They were within the strike zone, and they had a lot of bite and a lot of movement, and that's what you want to see. Then you can sprinkle in that fastball, and as long as you are in the strike zone, you have great command and control of that pitch, you're going to be fine. And so yesterday's performance was an excellent performance for Trevor May, in my opinion. He pitched 1 inning, and he struck out the side. I mean, what more? So now you got 3 guys that filled in for 3 innings and combined 7 strikeouts out of the would-be 9 batters. So you can't go wrong as a Met fan and as a coach. Myself personally, when I coach youth travel baseball, woo! I mean, we'll love to see that dominance, especially at 15, 16, 17-year-old kids that are very competitive. These are major leaguers, man. This is exciting when you see it. And people tend to not like baseball because they feel it's boring, when a game is low scoring and all that. We all want to see the home runs and all that, but this is what the kind of baseball you want to see. Good defense, starting with pitching, getting some ground balls, getting things done, everybody playing the position and making plays. So Trevor May, excellent to me. Drew Smith came in. He pitched 2/3 of an inning. He did struggle at times. He did give up a home run as well. He gave up that big home run to Ortega, which was big. But he had 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 base on ball, and 1 strikeout. Then Luis Rojas did the right thing. He came out. He figured, hey, I'm going to put the better matchup. Edwin Diaz is fresh. Didn't want to use Edwin Diaz, obviously, and I would have not wanted to use him either. We'll get him ready for tonight's game just in case you need him for a close game tonight, but for tomorrow's game. But he went ahead, got Diaz. Diaz only threw 4 pitches. He's good to go. He'll be able to pitch again tomorrow. It's not a bad situation when you can get a guy in. As long as he goes out there and he makes his pitches, has a good approach, commands and controls his pitches, and get a hitter to make something happen by hitting it to someone, and that's exactly what Edwin Diaz did. So I think Edwin Diaz was great for 1/3 of an inning. He gets his 14th save. His earned run average is at 2.67. And again, the pitching staff, excellent. What can we say any more about the pitching staff? Like I said, I think they're the true MVPs of this team. But 40 Ks and counting, because we still got one more game tomorrow night, and Stroman is not a big strikeout pitcher, but in his last game, I think he got about 8 or 9 Ks, so you just never know. Everybody's rolling right now. So, and then the way the Cubbies are looking right now, their hitters are like lost. They're like all over the place. Baez is over swinging. The only one who's hitting well, and it's, at times, it's been Anthony Rizzo. But, I mean, it's just really been dreadful to see. Peterson was horrible last night for them as well. But, again, we'll take it. Keep guys off balance, make proper pitches, and let's get guys out. And that's what the Mets are doing. So 40 strikeouts in 3 games. I mean, it's insane. There was 16 strikeouts, folks, in tonight's game among 7 pitchers. That's amazing. I mean, it's just a great pitching staff right now. Jeremy Hefner, Bones in the bullpen. They've done a great job with this team, and of course Luis Rojas has been making all the right moves. Granted, there are going to be times he's going to make moves it's not going to pan out. It happens. It's baseball. This is, again, what I'm going to always tell you, 162 game season for a reason. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to go 162-0. It's not going to happen. It's just, that's why it's tough as an individual athlete and as well as a team sport to go out there and be undefeated. It's very hard to do. So you could be perfect, but you're not always going to be perfect. It's going to be very hard. And the beauty of it is that in baseball with a 162-game season, you're not going to get 162-0, but you want to win 60, 65% of your games. If you win 60, 65% of your games and you set that as a goal and you go out there and accomplish that, you're going to be in the postseason. On average, if you look at it, anybody that's been in the playoffs, they have at least been in that vicinity of 60 to 65. Anything above 65, there is obviously you're going to be in the postseason. So right now, the way the standings are looking in the National League and the American League, some teams are starting to separate themselves a little bit, and there are some teams that pretty much have eliminated themselves already in some of these divisions because they have fallen 10, 12, 15, 18 games back. There's just no way in the world I could see them getting back into the division. So right now the Mets are starting to really pull away, 5 games away, 5-game lead. And like I said, when I discussed it yesterday, and I'm going to keep discussing it as we move forward, we got a 17-game stretch against teams in our division, and starting right after this series with the Cubs when we end it tomorrow. I think we got the Atlanta Braves coming in. Actually it's the Nationals. Sorry, the Nationals will be coming in, and they're right there in the bottom half, and they've lost Scherzer, and they don't have Strasburg. Man, we have a chance to, and we got a 4-game set against them. We got a chance here to roll here for a little bit. If we can get a sweep tomorrow and then go in there and win 3 out of 4 against Washington, we're going to be rocking and rolling. I'm telling you, this is going to be big these next 17, 18 games coming up. Anyway, So that's pretty much with the pitching, man. Again, excellent night, 16 Ks by the team, 40 altogether by the pitching staff in 3 games, and got one more to go with Stroman tomorrow. So we'll see how it pans out for the Chicago Cubs. I do not feel sorry for them at all, not whatsoever. Anyway, offensively, players of the game, man. So players of the game last night, couple guys to mention. I mean, KP had probably the better at bats, 2 for 4. He did hit a home run. He also had a double, got 2 RBIs. He swung the bat well. Plain and simple, and this is what he does. And he's always been this kind of athlete. He's just a scrappy, grindy guy. He makes plays. He's willing to go out there and play with reckless abandon. As you can see, he got hit in the face, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's out there right away in 2 weeks. And he hasn't missed a beat. If you ask me, he hasn't missed a beat. He's been fantastic. So kudos to KP. I think he was the top dog tonight. And then Dom Smith, he's been slowly but surely getting some good strokes over the last 3 games in this series. 1 for 3, hit another home run last night. That was his 6th of the year. He had 2 RBIs. I think, same thing with him. He's just swinging the bat well. We didn't get a whole lot of hits last night, and we're going to talk about that in a moment too. But I would say he was the second guy that really standed out to me as far as hits, because we didn't get a whole lot of them. And then, of course, another guy to mention here, and I already mentioned it, and that's Jacob deGrom, getting that 1 hit, taking that count from 0-2 to 3-2, fouling off a pitch, and then getting a ball good enough to hit in the strike zone, drives it hard on the ground, hard hit ground ball for a base hit and an RBI. That was just an awesome at-bat by a pitcher who looks like just a regular hitter out there. So, I mean, deGrom, kudos to him. So, excellent at-bat there. So let's talk about the hits. We only got 6 runs on 5 hits. Well, 5 hits, when you have only 5 hits and you say to yourself, how can you possibly win a game with just 5 hits? Well, first of all, you got 6 runs. The other thing is that this team has been patient at the plate. And what I like and what I've seen, and I would do the same with my players, is you got to watch the game and stay focused. And you're going to hear me complain when guys look like they lost focus in a game, because you know that when they come up to the plate and they just don't basically look like they were watching the pitcher throughout the last few batters or throughout the entire game. So, and then you have the analytics also in the video in the dugout. So, I mean, it's just no way in the world you should not be prepared at the plate when your time comes up to come to the plate. But we have been patient, and we've been able to get a lot of base on balls. And we're starting to realize Stock was struggling a little bit, and some hitters came up to the plate and they were patient, and they said to themselves, hey, make this guy work. And that's what you're supposed to do. When a pitcher struggles and he's not locating, has no command of his pitches, you make him work and get him to start throwing strikes. So we ended up getting 6 base on balls last night, and that's another remedy, another way for teams to score runs, okay, with just minimal hits and win games. And that's what we did last night. So there was 6 base on balls, right? And just 2 of those runs came in. 2 runners came in. Guillaume was one, and Billy McKinney were guys that got bases on balls and worked themselves around, and they were able to get in from base on balls. And when you have your on-base percentage, okay, when you get your on-base percentage that well as a team, I mean, Lindor has been patient enough to get a walk here and there. There's been a number of guys that are catalysts that always come up with a base on ball situation where they take the pitchers deep in the count, or they were patient enough to see 4 pitches in a row like Guillaume did. He went 4 straight pitches out of the strike zone, and he was able to get on base. So that's a remedy for us or for any team to be able to win games, especially when you only got 5 hits in a game and you score 6 runs. You're saying, how do they manufacture it? Well, that's another way how. You're getting on base through the base on balls or intentional walks, and you're making sure those guys get around and score from a hit or a home run or whatever it may be. So that's how it was done last night. And again, that's just for those out there, baseball, this is the way the game is played. You have to look at all these things. Another thing that I want to bring up is how players are staying focused on this team. Perfect example, Tomas Nieto. He saw that Guillaume had taken 4 balls in a row out of the strike zone. They were really wild. He said, I'm going to be patient with Stock, and I'm going to take my hacks the right way. Well, he ended up swinging his first 2 pitches. He got 0-2. He worked it back up to 1-2. I think he got it to 2-2. And then he finally got another good ball to hit upper half of the strike zone. He met it level, hit a line drive, soft line drive, or I would say medium contact line drive over into right center field for a base hit. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, quality hitting and knowing where you stand with a pitcher before you come up to the plate. He was patient. He allowed himself to get a good pitch to hit. He knew Stock was having trouble or he wasn't really locating well, and you be patient at the plate, take some pitches. Or if you feel another thing you have to look at is that sometimes a pitcher will throw 5 or 6 pitches out of the strike zone, and then eventually he may just want to throw one good one. And I would tell some of my kids, hey, you know what? He's missed 6 or 7 times. If he throws you a fastball, if he gives you something good and is over the plate, I'm giving you the green light to swing. It's okay. Because you might not get a great pitch. You might not get another great pitch. So you might as well just take a hack on it. So I thought that was a good quality at bat by Tomas Nieto there offensively. But that's basically it with the offense. It wasn't a whole lot that we can talk about there. So when we look at defensively, there wasn't really any defensive play that I saw other than VR playing obviously a good third base. That ball down the third base line that she ended up throwing in on a one hopper to Alonso, and Alonso kind of muffed it. Would have been out, but it gave the error to VR. And understandably, when you drop a ball and it's in the grass or in the dirt over to a defender at a bag, usually the error will go to the person who threw the ball. So, but it was a good, nice stab. He's just so smooth, VR. I know he got credited for 2 errors there. The second error definitely was not, it could be iffy. It could go either way, but I'm going to talk about that in a moment with my boneheaded play of the day, which I don't think it is for me, but I'm just going to touch upon it anyway. But defensively, the defensive play of the game today for me was actually coming out of the Cubs defense, and Javier Baez. If you've seen that hard hit ground ball hit in the 8th inning, Baez was at short, moved over towards the second base bag, really had to take some long strides, cut down a ball, kind of like slid on his knees, made the stop on that hard hit ground ball, basically did a 180, turned around, set his feet, and basically threw the runner out at first base. I thought that was a remarkable play. That was definitely the play of the day there. As far as defense is concerned, that was actually by Tomas Nieto, looking here on my notes. So Tomas Nieto hit that ball hard right up the middle, and he snagged and took a hit away from Tomas Nieto. A great defensive play. And again, this is what baseball is all about, is making plays. You have to make plays for your team. That was a good defensive play by Javier Baez. Saved the hit. You never know what that hit might have turned into. Could have opened up a can of worms. We don't know. That's the probabilities. We just don't know. But the idea that we do know is that he made an excellent play because he played defense. He played the ball, made something happen, and that's what it's all about. And that's all you want to do. Play the ball, knock it down, make a play, boom, get it out. And Javier Baez did that last night for the Cubbies there. So that was a great play, man. I got to give my props and kudos to Javier Baez on that defensive play. Boneheaded play of the night. I don't think it's a boneheaded play, but some people are going to say, yeah, the second error that Jonathan VR got, he kind of looked like he was having trouble fueling the ball, trying to get a grip. That's the way it looked like to me when I saw it several times. I even replayed it back a few times. And then he kind of took a little bit. He did a couple shuffles. You can't take too many shuffles. So that was one thing. But I think it was more about that he couldn't feel the ball and get a decent grip to throw, and that's what caused them to be late to first base on that ball hit by Ian Happ. So some people called it. Gave him an error. It's a shame. He's been so solid. I can live with that. I mean, you didn't get a good grip. You weren't able to throw it on time. No problem. The other one, I felt like, maybe shouldn't I give him the error? Maybe should have just gave him a hit because it was hit down the third base line. But it is what it is. The scorer is the scorer. And so we're going to go with that. I think VR is going to make more great plays than he's going to have boneheaded plays. So I wouldn't consider this. I don't think I saw any boneheaded plays, in my opinion, last night. And I think VR in this particular play for the error, he gets an error for it, but I think it was more of that he was just having a hard time getting a grip on the ball to throw the runner out. And that's basically it. But my final thoughts, man, hey, this team is playing well, man. As a Met fan and as Mets fans throughout the nation there, out there that are watching, we can't be in a better situation right now, man. We don't have all our key players. And, and it's interesting. I had one individual comment last night on my last video, and he pointed out a few things that moving forward that can possibly happen. And, I totally agree with him on those points. I think Luis Rojas is going to have a tough decision when McNeil comes back, Conferto and all that. All these guys come back, J.D. Davis. He's going to have to decide if he's going to stay with the flow of the team the way it's going right now, because defensively, I think we're very solid with Guillaume at second base, and of course Lindor at short, and VR at third base. I think that's an excellent middle infield to corner spot. And then you got Pete Alonso, which is not a bad first baseman. Obviously the defense will be even more solid with Don Smith at first, because he's a better first baseman. But we're not taking Pete Alonso's bat off this lineup, so he's going to stay where he's at, and I think that we can survive. And then of course we got McCann behind the plate, and Nieto is no pushover either, but McCann has been solid defensively. So that's a good defensive unit, and that's where it all starts, with the defense, with the pitching well, and then we have these middle infielders, corner infielders, and our catcher, our backstop, being very solid defensively. In the outfield, we're not too bad when we got a Mason Williams coming out there making plays, late in the game, or maybe subbing in once, starting a few games, and you got KP holding that outfield spot, and he's going to be a scrap iron, he's going to make plays, and so far so good. And then Dom is done fine in left field. So we're good defensively, and it's going to be hard to get J.D. Davis in there after VR the way he's been playing. So that's a concern, even though J.D. Davis may have a little more pop in the bat as far as hitting it out of the park than VR does. But VR, I think, is better contact hitter, and he's also a better defender. So that's going to be something he's going to consider. I personally think VR is going to stay there, and JD is going to be like coming in. They're going to work him in slowly. And I think they're going to do the same with McNeil, because I think McNeil has definitely got the better bat than Guillaume, but Guillaume definitely has, his defense is probably a tad bit better, just simply because of the little things he can do as far as reacting to the ball than McNeil does. But I don't know. And for Conferto, I just can't see. McKenny has been great in right field. I can't see Conferto. He's the one piece on this offense that I believe when he comes back and he's ready, he's 100%, he's going to go and play right field. McKenny's going to be coming off the bench as the fourth outfielder, which I think he's an excellent addition to this team, and he's going to stick here. He has already proven that he is someone we're going to have to keep here and not let go. So, guys like the young minor league guys, obviously they're going to have the opportunity to go back down to AAA or AA, but not McKenny. McKenny's going to stay here with this big club. And I think Conferto, to me, in my opinion, is going to be the one guy that's going to obviously stay and is going to come up and play right away on this team. Yeah, even Brandon Nemo, when he's ready, he may be someone that, with KP playing so well, you got Mason Williams. I don't know. It's going to be tough, man. So I think those are the three guys that are going to have a little bit of I think Rojas is probably, in my opinion, going to just work those guys in slowly but surely, not throw them out to the wolves right away, and kind of keep this nucleus going with the guys that he has, playing right now. And then Conferto will be the one guy, I think, in right field, you plug him in there right away because of first of all, it's his contract year. Second of all, he's a top dog on his team offensively. He gets hot with that bat. He's got power. He can drive balls for doubles. He's an RBI guy. He's a guy that is a big part and a big integral part, actually, of this offense. So he was just going to make this offense even more potent and more dangerous than it is right now. So I think he hands on it. But let me know your thoughts on what you think about what Luis Rojas is going to do when he got McNeil back, Conferto, J.D. Davis, Nemo, when he gets these regular starters that have been starters and were locked in as starters at the beginning of the year, when they come back now after the way this team has been playing with the guys that have played up to this point in time. So I would like to get your thoughts on that. And that's pretty much it, man. Tomorrow we got Marcus Stroman going for us, man, and I am so excited. I am looking forward to a sweep. I was hoping for us to play well against this team because they're one of the top dogs in the National League, and so far we faced two solid teams in a row, and we've been able to hold these teams down to, I think, 20 runs, I think, or 20 somewhat runs in those 6 or 7 games. So that is impressive, and against a team like San Diego that was a top-notch, it's probably the top earned run average pitching staff in the MLB right in front of us. And I think we're eventually going to catch up to those guys and pass them. And then, facing the Cubs, who came in here red hot, winning 5 in a row, putting up tons of runs. And we just, they barely are getting any runs here. So I don't want to jinx ourselves. I want Stroh to come out, have a dominant game tomorrow. Let's finish up the sweep. Let's send these guys packing with a 4-game sweep and let them know that we are the true bosses of the National League moving forward. That's what we want to do. We want to leave that message upon every team that we face. So That's pretty much it, folks, man. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's post-game show. Enjoy the game, and I'll see you then, man. Peace out.